are back. Welcome to the show. My name is Jeremy.
What's up from afar?
Oh, yes, from afar. My name's Jeremy, and today I've got
Jeff.
That's Jeff. He's distant in. You don't see him just yet. And then we got Joshua here from CFT, and you might have remembered him from another episode that he came in and graced us with his presence. And if you haven't heard it, you should go back and check it out before you listen to this, I think. So anyway, today, Jeff is not with us physically. He is with us in spirit and audibly via the technology that is his phone, and I think an iPad and a nice little light, and he's all set up at his house because they had some folks that did or could have been near COVID, so they're taking their precautions, and so are we. So we're doing it a little different today, and Josh was nice enough to take some of his time and come over and sit in, so I'm just not staring at a wall. Maybe we can actually make this halfway entertaining,
Work with
that's
it.
not fair. I have to stare at a wall.
Well, that's exactly why I was saying that. So
I know. I should have set myself up on the nice accent wall, but I'm in a very comfortable chair. So
yeah. Well, I can't see it right now, but I can't wait to see it whenever we're editing. I'm sure it's. I'm sure
he ain't
it's
got
just
pants
fine.
on.
I'm sure he doesn't have pants on.
He's a lucky one. Really.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Yes, I have clothes because you can see my legs in the chair. However, the camera's set up. I did debate that.
Oh, okay.
I did debate. I was like, man, I could sit in my underwear and a shirt, and they won't know. But then, how I have my iPad set up, I can't set it up high enough to where it would cut me. So you pretty much probably got me thigh up, sitting in a chair.
Oh, thigh up. All right. That's a good image. I like that. Yeah.
Focused on that mental image for the next, 60 minutes or so.
Right. So, hey, before we get started, what's going on in your world, man? I know you got some craziness. We already know about some relatives and whatnot, but how's work and everything, man, with the new stuff coming down from the governor here in Illinois?
Yeah, it's a different experience, man. It's more so disheartening, running the facility. We can still have people in there. You got to wear masks at all times. We're still taking temperatures, as we always have. But the thing that really sucks is, we can't have any classes. And that's obviously most gyms. That's where a majority of your people come from, is the people that do classes. And a lot of our seniors who do some of the senior classes, that's 80, 100 people that are losing out, 3-4 days a week that they come to the gym. Now, they'll still come, not all of them, because some of them are at a point where they need instruction and they also need assistance doing the stuff that they do. But we're doing today's day one. It was smooth. I can't complain. Next week, we'll figure. I'll let you in on how it's going after a few days, But
yeah, totally.
Overall, it's good. I'm blessed. We're still open. I'm happy my staff still can come in. Trying to figure out ways that our instructors can still earn some, income since they can't teach classes. So, we did an outdoor class today. I think we're going to start doing some YouTube videos with instructors so that people can get online or Facebook. So, using technology like we are right now is a blessing. So,
yeah,
adaptive.
Yeah,
that's
good, man. Good. You're able to hang in there, and we'll stand by and can't wait to hear from you next week and see how things are going, man. Hopefully everything's not too crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Josh is experiencing a lot of craziness in his job too. Josh, what's going on with you, man?
It's a lot of up and down. I mean, we have a lot going on. We have COVID spiking all over again. We have this beautiful election. We have everything else that is just so crazy and hectic. So you literally have people that do not know what their future is going to, hold. So we're slow. I mean, we're not totally dead in the water yet, but it is definitely going to change pace for, I'm predicting, until next year. So we'll just have to wait until hold it out in January. And we got a whole bunch of new toys anyway. So it gives me time to do some R&D development and some other stuff. Just got to try to figure out for everybody
explain some of
else.
these toys, dude, because I've been seeing you post them on Instagram. Explain some of these badass toys that you got in the shop.
Well, we got the hub dyno in now, finally. We'll have it fully operational, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And that way we could strap any vehicle you got onto it and let's see how much horsepower you can make.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for tuning, right?
Yeah.
And for you people that don't understand that in the automotive world, what us gearheads do is you buy a part, you install it on your vehicle, or you build a part and you put it on, you modify a part. Well, the engine management systems these days, or the ECUs, the computers, if you will, are so smart that they'll basically go and negate that, or they won't know how to understand, what to do with that. So it might dump too much fuel or not enough fuel, maybe too much air, not enough air. So what they can also do is, and maybe not presently, but what those are good for, those dynos, is you attach your car to it, you tune it so that you can control the parts and, what you put on there. You're actually getting the performance. Yeah, building efficiencies, right? Exactly. Making that motor the best it can be. So that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know. Sorry, I'm an old gearhead too. So,
and plus it's just fun to see stuff that's especially high horsepower just come on there, just loud and fun and just.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm excited about. I just want the loud stuff on it.
Yeah, you can't be mad at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
You gonna put the van on it, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm totally gonna put the van on it. Yeah, right. It's got a good engine for that, but no, that van's a cruiser, man. That's it. I don't even think it's getting exhaust or anything.
Dual exhaust.
No way,
Josh,
dude.
Tinker on the engine.
No, it needs to
on
be
the lift.
nice and quiet, man. Yeah, dude. So, for me, man, this last week was crazy because Barrel Brands we had a big sale, and it was fantastic. It was phenomenal. We asked people to help us share some information because we were down on our luck with advertising because Facebook and Instagram seem to just want to just
Still an issue.
demolish all of us small businesses and our capabilities. So,
Dude.
we asked for some help, and a lot of people helped. So it's been a very, very rewarding and busy week for me. I will say that spiritually, it's been a very difficult week as well. For some reason, it's been harder than usual for me to get into my meditations and lock in. It's been harder than usual to do a lot of things. And I don't know why, but I'm just trying to roll with those punches and say, well, it may not be the best, but it's just today.
You have holidays coming
Dude,
up.
Yeah.
We have
right
this
there with you.
election. We have the COVID spikes.
Right.
We have a lot going on mentally behind everything it's the same way for me.
Yeah.
We're just talking
Oh,
about
dude,
it.
yeah.
I believe everybody is kind of right now is just, it's almost got a little bit of a weight on your chest. It's not really stress.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit of anxiety. It's a little bit of stress, but I mean, it's kind of just that. Right
Yeah.
there.
It's like we're all sitting in the shit stew.
It's a waiting room. It's like being at the DMV right now.
Right.
That's the way I kind of feel. Like I feel like you just walked into the DMV at 9:00 in the morning when they first open up, and the place is packed. Pre-COVID, before all the masking, they were packing people. But you're just like, oh, I have to get this done, and I had to sit and wait.
See, you know how I feel, and this is
it's miserable.
I think that this is going to be a good transition for what I think we need to talk about today. But think if you're in that shit stew. Just think if you're literally sitting in a pot. Maybe not shit, but you're sitting in a pot with other people, boiling water. You're waiting for the witch or whatever. But you're just waiting for that ladle to take you out, and you think it's either going to take you out and it's going to make you great, or they're going to kill you, they're going to eat you, or whatever. Just bear with me for a second. But you're just waiting on that, right? So Josh and I were talking before we got on here today, Jeff, and we were talking about how everybody looks externally for everything. Okay, so hear me out for a second. So satisfaction, joy, comfort, pleasure, adrenaline, serotonin, endorphins, everything comes externally. Phones give us a lot of that, right? But other people. So when we're looking for comfort because the news has got us crazy, we get on our phone. But then our phone makes us crazy. So when do we as a people start looking internally instead of externally? And then using the technology for what it's supposed to be. It's a tool. It's not a whoopee. It's not a pacifier. It's not your wife's touch. It's not your husband's touch. It's a tool. It's not supposed to bring you pleasure. It's supposed to provide you with information, facts, data, directions. Why is it, how is it that so many of us are just continuing to rely on external sources for our love, our happiness, our comfort, whatever? We need to focus on ourselves. And Josh brought up a good point earlier, Jeff. He said he felt selfish because he was always doing things for himself. But I thought about it. I sat on that for a few minutes, Josh, and I think that
it's a weird one, ain't it?
You have to do things for yourself. You have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're not going to be shit for someone else. But then in lies the problem. When does it become just all about me and selfishness, right? Which I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, because we haven't even gotten out of our own heads to just stop relying on other people for shit.
Yeah.
right? So let's start there, right? Before we ever
Oh,
get
man,
to the next step, right, Jeff? What you got, man?
Dude, so this fits so perfectly with something I wrote the other day. It was the 12th, we're 8 days ago. So you're talking about the internal, external things of we're all in this kind of mode, and you can see in people's faces. There's one, we can't see each other's emotions when we're in public anymore. You got to rely on looking at eyes and eyebrows and wrinkles in the forehead. But it's called hedonic adaptation, or the hedonic treadmill. And so what it is we as humans have this tendency to always return to our level of happiness, like a stable level. And so what it really means is right now we're trying to find other things that can fill the void, just like you're explaining. Instead of looking internally, we're external. So the whole thing of the hedonic treadmill or adaptation is you're trying to buy something or fill something with that new void of happiness, and it gives it to you for a moment, and then boom, it wears off, and then you try to find something else to replace it. So you're always in this treadmill. You're just on this constant run, and it never stops because you can't find anything internally to bring you happiness. And so I kind of wrote this example, and all this came from off of doing the daily meditations, the Stoic stuff they got going on the app right now. But the big thing is, like, a lot of people, I think a big thing, especially this time of year, is we always stress over what we can't get someone. Like, oh man, I wish I could get that new TV, or I could get that new car, I could get this toys for my kid. Well, you get something for yourself or your family, and then happiness wears off because you don't feel you can continue down that road. And so we're constantly in this battle of negativity, of up, down, happiness. And I just wrote it down as like this, because I think most people can relate to it. Is, so let's say you lived in a cabin, but you're sitting there always visualizing you want to live in a mansion, which is fine for positive thinking. But if you always do that, you're always putting yourself in this bad mood because you're like, I should be in a mansion. I should be in a mansion. You got to put it in a different perspective, flip it and go, well, what if I lived in a tent? I'm already better off because I don't live in a tent. I live in a cabin.
Yeah.
We got to look back on what we have versus what we're trying to achieve. And it kind of gets in that gray area of, it's good to have goals, but you also can't sit there and wish and wish and wish for things, small steps to get to that point.
Yeah, I do. And it sounds like what we're saying is that you have to find balance.
But you also get the must be nice mentality, which is very big right now.
That is big, but I think you have to meet that kind of reaction with a response that is very just loving and compassionate. Like, I said the same thing back when I was humping my ass off and not making money.
Yeah.
So it must be nice, but let me tell you how I got from must be nice to it is nice. And there's a lot of hard work there, and people, they'll must be nice you to death. And they're the same people that get stuck in that pain body cycle that Jeff was just talking about. Mm-hmm. It's that cycle. I call it the getting stuck in the hamster wheel. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's I'm happy. I'm really happy. Oh my God, something happened. I'm sad. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. Oh wow, I'm happy again. I'm really happy. Now I'm sad. And it just goes on and on. It's
a roller coaster of life, of just emotions that you're always trying to feed.
Yeah.
It's like eating Chinese food.
Oh, no, dude.
You're just going to be hungry for more later.
Yeah, right. It doesn't last, right? That's funny, man. But yeah, I think that with so many external things coming in at all times, trying to satisfy you, trying to piss you off, trying to confuse you, whatever it is, if you can't sit still with your own thoughts and be okay and get something out of that conversation with yourself or without any conversation and be happy with that, you can't start to silence the noise from the periphery. You have to silence that noise before you can start to really look inside and be okay with not needing somebody else to tell you that the work you just did is good. It's one of my pet peeves, and I hate having a pet peeve, but one of them is when somebody does something for you and they don't stop asking you if you like it. And you're just like, God damn, no, I don't fucking like it anymore. Now I don't like it because I'm tired of this. You've worn me out. I don't understand.
Make it simple. Are you happy with it? Yes. Okay. You happy? I happy? Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. Like when you did something or you made something and somebody said, fuck, I love that. That was your moment to get satisfaction. Why are you coming back to the well? Why are you coming back to me? I'm not your whoopee.
Yeah.
You're an adult. You shouldn't need me to tell you that you did a good job. Your good job was when you handed it to me.
Yeah.
That's your good job.
That's society though, is everyone is looking for gratification, even for the smallest of things.
And they look elsewhere for it.
We have the TikTok and social media society now. I mean, I won't knock on anybody.
Likes.
It's like, I won't knock on anybody. I mean, look, we're doing a podcast right now, hoping to reach out to more viewers and everything else. I mean, we're in this technology of this whole society of some of us are looking for a lot of accreditation because that's what kind of feeds you. It gives you that ego. It gives you those feelings. And I need more followers. I need more followers. I need that substance of it. And it's like where I came to like 2-3 months ago over it. Like I practically dropped everything on social media. I'm like, I'm only going to post enough stuff for my business and then a few personal things along the way because I love using social media as my Dropbox for all my photos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And then outside of that, it's just like, well, I mean, if you follow me, it's like my 4:30 in the morning, like motivational quote thing that I throw up every single morning when I get up first thing. It's like, that's what I'm going to do because I do got a lot of people that love following that and they're up at the same time and they're like, yep, just keep mushing on, whatever. That's great for them. I love it. It's no different than the Apple Watch, which me and Jeff, I'm always staring at that thing and I'm always checking on Jeff and a few other people that I have friends with it on it. And it, like my competitive,
we may have to switch over to new watches.
Yeah.
I've been looking at these Garmin watches, dude. They're fucking badass with the technology and all the shit.
I'm an Apple fan.
I've owned.
I am too, man. They blow Apple out of the water with the things that they can do.
Jeff, let me tell you, I've owned Apple watches. I've owned Garmin watches. I've owned Android watches. The great thing about the Garmin watches are what are great about them, but they have a lot of limiting factors. The screen is really dim. They're not touch screens. You're using old buttons. The menus are 45 layers deep in the Garmin. So be careful. Go check it out. They're fucking rad. And if you're a triathlete, you know what I mean? But they're they're sort of like, I don't know. Like I always felt like, ooh, like this watch is really dope looking and it does great things, but it doesn't make me very happy while it's doing the things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does them really well, but it's like looking at a piece of black and white print. You're like, oh, there's data there. And I don't know. I'm used to it looking colorful and bright. Exactly. And look, you know what I mean? I can touch it and it does things. And I don't know. It's just different.
That is one of the things that they haven't got on. Yeah, I've been just looking at their programming and the things that it does in their app. It's pretty neat, some of the stuff that they're able to track.
Oh, and they've got built-in, they have built-in mapping, so you don't have to have your phone with you, which is really cool.
Yeah.
If you're out,
unfortunately, just got the new Series 6 watch, so I'm like, I'm not in the market for nothing.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, right on.
I'm rolling on I bought a used, refurbished 3 watch when I got mine.
Yeah.
So
that's what my first one was a 3, and then I gave that to Tara, and now Tara's just absolutely in love with it.
Yeah, they're pretty rad devices. I don't know, man. I hit this point a few months ago where like I had it and it was notifying me of things, and I'm thankful that I know things are happening, but then it was like, I need to turn all these off. And then I thought,
I remember that. Like, I noticed you stopped wearing them coming over.
Yeah, I don't
probably when we first started getting back into the podcast when things kind of died down.
Yeah, totally. And so now I'm like,
you were wearing the other watches.
I really got back to like, if I want to wear a watch, I'm gonna make a watch that my buddy made.
Yeah,
that George Fox over at NFW watches made. If I want to know if I'm hitting my fitness targets, I just need to know if I woke up and worked out. If I need to track my calories, I just need to know that I ate a meal and it wasn't too big.
See, I'm a data person.
Like,
I like seeing all the numbers in the graphs.
Oh, sure. So I like that too.
That makes complete sense, Josh, with what you do with vehicles and trucks and everything.
I mean, doing CNC work and engineering and so forth. I love
all
numbers.
About the data.
That's
right.
like the weird autistic side of myself.
I'm the other.
love that.
I'm the other part. I like
Simplicity.
the feeling.
Yeah.
Like I just know. Like I know because my pants fit the way they fit yesterday. They're not tighter.
Mhm.
I know because my shirt fits well. I know because whatever, man. You just know. And like I know when I fuck up and I don't hop in the yoga, or I don't do my push-ups or my pull-ups. I know when I don't do them, and I know when I feel soft.
Yeah.
I don't need my watch to tell me that I'm soft. I already fucking know I'm soft. I just need some more discipline. That's what I need. I need a watch that will fucking pull out a big hammer and say, I'm going to fucking hit you if you don't do the work.
Yep.
That's what I need. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, really, man, really. But
I think we all kind of need that one.
But I tell you what, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where I think that we're headed is a nation full of mentally ill people. Not that we're not already there. We're already in a nation of mentally ill people.
I think we're further there than we've ever been.
But
in the history of this country.
I mean, oh my God, an alarming rate of hospitalizations, because more and more people are going to start going, oh, fuck. What the fuck have I been doing? Why the fuck am I doing this? Oh my God. And then, you've got that initial like regret over every bad thing you've ever done. And you go through the remorse, and then you got to get out of that space, and you're in this depression, and it's a fucking roller coaster ride once you realize that you've been living like an asshole. After that that's the easy part.
It's going to make a society filled with lots of the introverts, just people that.
If the kids today weren't introverted enough,
Yeah.
I feel like
I also think it's going to be a society that's dependent on drugs to cope with what we should naturally be able to cope with.
And you guys remember the movie WALL-E?
Yeah, that was going through my head is when Josh was talking.
Seriously, right? I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I think we're no longer have any social interaction with each other. It's like I said, though, it's almost gotten weird. Like I told you earlier,
almost?
It's like, well, it has gotten weird, because I can have most people, I could have a better conversation through text message and social media than I can in person. And then the people I have conversations with in person are like people like you, people like Jeff.
Right.
Like I could sit and have long conversations with you.
Yes.
But there's a lot of my friends, there's a lot of other people I've met in passing that's like, as soon as I see them in person, even if I've known them for years, I'm almost like,
well, it's almost like they have no attention span.
Yeah.
Because if you do get in, right,
everyone's
Jeff?
ADD.
Yeah, if you get involved in a conversation, you're done. Like, it's like you're going to be gone from me in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
I can admit, my wife and I talked about that the other day. She's like, I think I do have it. And I go, I don't think you do. I just think that is us as a society now, that we're so quick for, instant snap and something's at our fingertips. But when we're having conversations, they don't come out as fast as our brain and our senses want. Like when we Google search something that you're waiting for an answer or a question or whatever, it doesn't get as fast as you want. So your brain just goes, oh, look, squirrel. And then you're distracted.
Yeah.
Because we don't get the conversation sensory fast enough like technology does.
Yep.
And we've gotten away from those conversations as of lately to, interact with one another, especially with half of our face covered,
Well, right. And you're right, Jeff. Everything that you said is accurate. But dig this, man. What if every other person just decided that instead of getting angry about something in that moment, they were just going to sit with it and breathe for 10 seconds? Can you imagine what that would do for the world?
I need that lately.
Right. Of course. We all can. I mean, every one of us here today knows that yesterday sucked. Today's fucking brilliant. Tomorrow's probably not going to be brilliant. How can it be brilliant like today? It can't be this good again. Why would you expect it to be this good again? But then also, why would you expect it to be this bad again? And if you keep expecting it to be that bad again, it will be, I promise.
Past is behind you. The future is ahead of you. And today is a gift because it's called the present.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, man. But, going back to that.
Master Shifu.
Right? Go back to that, like, if everybody just took a second to internalize what they're doing and think, like, okay, I don't need to react. I just need to understand why this made me angry. And how could I receive this information next time in the same manner, but not feel angry? That's a
Yeah.
hard fucking thing,
That's what,
but it's nothing that we can't do.
Well, we live
that's
in a
why
time right now
I'm so
where
adamant on the breathing.
Oh,
Yes.
for real. Well, that's where it starts, right? Like, well, the decision
Mhm.
has to be made. Go to the breathing, calm yourself down. Your nervous system's fucking freaking out.
well, we live in a time right now we don't know what the truth is.
No, that's true.
But we all know what our own
Dude,
truths are.
100%.
We know what our own truths
Yes.
are, and we all know when we fuck up, when we don't own it,
Yes.
right? Start
Well,
owning
most of the
shit.
time.
Start owning shit, people. And that's the more shit you own in your day, as in when I say own, if you don't understand me, I'll explain it. I mean, you take responsibility for your actions, your words, your thoughts, your intention. Own your shit. Let other people see you owning your shit. They will start owning their shit. If you're constantly telling somebody, man, it's never your fault. You never fucking admit to this. I'm always wrong, blah, blah, blah. Just stop saying shit. Stop fucking talking. Right, Jeff? Stop talking.
Yeah, dude, that's what I wrote about in like my journal the other day. Like I told you a couple weeks back, I've been I need to get back into it. And I don't do it every day. Like I'll do it maybe every few days or once a week, but it's a collection of thoughts that I might put some things down on my phone, then I expand upon it when I get it to paper. But I exactly wrote about that is, taking that moment to breathe, sit there, and try and relax and internalize those things, but understanding that, shit's going to hit the fan, you're going to lose it, but you always have to internally look back to yourself to create that happiness, that internal peace. And if you start creating that in yourself, finding that balance, ultimately you will start instilling that into other people who will encounter you.
Right.
Because they will see how you behave, and then they'll see how they behave and go, oh shit, like, I flipped out last night. I'm fucking exhausted from a long ass day. Getting ready to bed, and one of our speakers, I think, in the surround sound like blew. My wife goes, "It's on fire!" I go, "It's not on fire." And I was like, "It's fine." And they're like flipping out, and it's like my own nest, but
a speaker.
Yeah,
Sorry.
dude. Like, I know it's funny, but like it went nuts, like bad. Like you want to talk like like a blown sub, and it's just like echoing. It was, I don't know what happened. They're fine now. Test them off, but like. I was exhausted, sitting there about like half passed out on the couch. Like, things like that. There's no reason for me to get mad, but stress of the day, sleep deprived. Like Josh said earlier, we're all on that like edge of a little bit of stress, anxiety. I think a lot of people, and I'll admit to myself, we're all on that tipping point. It's just, we're right there in that teeter-totter, that just one small thing.
Well, everybody's kind of like a almost overfilled pot.
We're taking time bombs, yeah, and it's just like, man,
like a drip.
and that's what I was writing about
filled to the top
the other day.
Yeah, it seems almost as if this can't be unintentional. Like, how is there this much crazy all of a sudden?
I want to do mushrooms so bad, but I'm so scared right now because what if we're living in a simulation?
Dude, I do them every few weeks.
You see the ones
I
in the
journey
come down the screen, Josh.
No, legit, man. I journey every. Okay, I'll say once a month. I try to journey, and every time I come back better, Josh.
Oh, I believe
every time I come back fucking better. I learn more and more shit about myself and my world. Sometimes it scares the shit out of me.
I think lately for me though is I've taken a real big leap into the bigger world. Like I've been questioning a lot more things.
Oh, I know you have
around me.
You've been
like I've been seeing and watching the patterns, and just it's like, am I the only one seeing this?
No, you're not.
It's just
there's a reason why your circle is your circle, Josh.
Yeah.
Because once you start realizing that there's more to this than just stumbling through your fucking days like a fucking chimpanzee, you start to see things that freak you out because they're so beautiful and amazing, and they make so much more sense than just fucking stumbling through your day.
It's
shit adds up.
Enjoying life so much more lately is just so nice. It's stop the mundane task, and like I love routine, but I love my routine.
Damn Skippy.
And everybody out there is going to be stuck on quote unquote somebody else's routine. You're working for somebody, you're doing whatever, but you could still make that routine your own and own it and enjoy what's going on around you. Especially lately, like everybody is so buried into their phones, and they're like, oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with this? I need minute by minute updates, and I need to be fulfilled with all this because I'm so panicking about the future of who is this? Who is that? And I'm just thankful I don't care at all about politics. So I don't have that burden
Right.
like other people do right now.
Well, other people give themselves
So,
that burden.
yes.
We all choose
Oh, yeah.
to be happy or sad. If you choose to engage in political shenanigans with other people, you're choosing to be unhappy.
It's birds of a feather.
Yes, it
That's
is.
what-
You get in that fucking echo chamber. Everybody says either the same thing or the opposite thing, and either one fuel you, and you're both fucking right, and you're both wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't both be wrong ever or all the way, and you're not always right all the way. But gosh damn
Yeah.
it, if we as a people don't start realizing that we're doing this shit to ourselves at the expense of everyone that's going to come after us, dude, we're just going to keep on screwing shit up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, eventually there is going to be a book written, and they are going to go. Imagine this. Imagine
Oh,
that
dude,
you're
I'm
a-
laughing in my head just
Right.
thinking about that.
Imagine that you're a spirit. You're somebody's spirit guide, and all you can do is watch these people just destroy themselves, and you can't do anything about it. Well, let me tell you, that's what I've been fucking doing for about 3 years now, is watching everybody around me destroy themselves. And
So
then
you're kind of becoming like the shaman in the sense, Jeremy, of your circle.
well, I don't know about
People
I don't know about that.
I'm using it next. You kind of get the context I'm trying to explain it to. I'm not saying like you're this, medicine man, but you've transformed yourself over these past several years that your inner circle and some of those outside that are still part of your friend circle have noticed and have started to cling and have gotten pulled into your changes because they've seen the growth and changes you've had. And it's kind of like I was saying earlier, you start doing that, it brings people into it because they've seen how what you're doing. And Josh, I think you're kind of on your path of awakening.
I would say I would agree with you 100%. He's
I'd say,
completely in
like,
the middle of it.
It's like what
I say
Lao Tzu
Jeff is
says,
head talk.
in the Tao Chang, the Tao Te Chang is eventually the world will be so chaotic that eventually it will have this awakening moment to have the great balance again with the way, and I think a lot of society right now is also on this crazy tipping point, but I also think a lot of people are on their awakening journey, seeing the things like you two were talking about, what we talked about before. They're seeing the bigger picture, seeing that I don't need to work for somebody else nonstop. I can, but I'm going to make it my own and make my own routine. They're finding little things in their day to make their life better, realizing that the old ways aren't right.
No, the old ways
And-
are old.
Yes, exactly. They're finding new ways, and I think there's a good group movement of people trying to get back to a simpler time of realizing you can do all these things in life, work, put your X amount of hours a week, do this and that, but you can enjoy life.
Yeah.
I saw someone do a post a couple of days ago, like, oh, you enjoy your 40-hour week. I got goals to hit. You work 40 or whatever it was. It's like, okay, cool. But there are people who can work 40 hours a week and still attain their goals. There are people who can work less than that, and there are people who can work more. Whose goals are you really going after when you do this? Are you going after yours and what your job is? Or are you doing that much extra work because the man who's above you is, cracking the whip at you, and they demand that of you because, there's a big difference in that. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are realizing I don't need to work my life away because what's the point?
No.
I can work this, still make money. I can do this and be happy. And for me, that was my awakening was, I think last year into this year. It's like time to take the reins of my own and put myself in the hot seat and
What's
be the
your
pilot.
complacency?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think your complacency is? What do you think? Let me preface this by saying Josh and I talked earlier about complacency, and that's what got this episode to where it is now. Josh has his own version of his complacencies, and I have mine, and I'll share mine with you real quick, Jeff, because you didn't hear it earlier.
Okay.
My complacency is I have a habit of getting things to a point to where they could be magnificent and maybe a little otherworldly, if you will, but I stop. Not because I've always told myself that I stop because I don't want it to get too big and unmanageable. But what I should probably be saying is I'm afraid of it becoming as good as what it probably should be or what it could be. So my complacency is resting in that area between not doing enough and doing more than enough. Like it's not complacency to where I'm not doing my work or I'm not trying to develop or make things. I do that, but where I am complacent is in that taking the next step. So I'll admit that right now. And then Joshua has one of his own. I'll let him share his, and then we'll go to you.
Okay.
Yeah. My complacency is I'm just selfish, and I've always been selfish. And really, it's I've always, nothing gets in my way. If I put my mindset to anything I do, I'm going to do it one way or another. And it, like, more and more think about it, it's like, yeah, it betters my family, does this. It's like, it's almost like excuses in my head whenever I was like, well, I'm going to lose weight because I know that's what I want to do. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do it. I mean, I built my whole entire gym in literally 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. You went from 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
Yeah. I went from one set of weight plates, a bar, and a squat rack to now I have a sauna, treadmill, row, everything you could possibly think of.
But hey, listen, and I will attest to this. When you go through an awakening, if that's what, your version of an awakening, you tend to want to make things right really quickly. And it's hard to sit and not make things right really quickly. But Joshua, I will tell you right now,
I don't sit and wait. But
I'm telling you right now, if you continue with the trajectory that you're on without some sort of a balance, you will go in the opposite direction.
Oh, yes.
And you will become depressed.
Yep.
It will happen.
Because there's only an X amount of fulfillment.
That's exactly right.
Once you hit that fulfillment, it's like...
So this is where Josh learns to sit with himself, with his own thoughts.
That's what the sauna's for.
Good. Take advantage of it, dude. Do it at the right time of the day.
Yep, first thing in the morning.
Do it again at night.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed. Clear your head. And I'm not saying you don't, Josh. I'm just saying I have been in your seat. I ended up in the hospital because of it. Because I had so much coming out of me. I was like, oh, my God, I'm alive again. Yeah. You know, I could feel my skin. I could feel the wind on me. I knew every time the wind blew because, man, it made me shiver, you know, and I loved that. And then I didn't. Then I found myself consumed by all things on my phone, all things at the job, all things here. And I forgot that beautiful feeling, and I forgot that. But I didn't let myself really forget. I just put a veil over it again.
Yes.
Right. Until a couple years ago. And then it was like, oh, okay, good. I can get back to that place. Moderation, even in the really good, beautiful stuff.
And that's why I keep a routine, keep a schedule of it.
Yeah,
I notice if you keep the discipline, and it's like my routine, I wake up at this time, I do this, I hurry up and try, clean this up, get this going.
Yeah.
Do my workout, do my routine of this, and then, you know, kids up, breakfast. Everything that I'm doing right now, I do not want to change because I've never been happier.
Yeah.
I've never really felt healthier. Tara's getting on with a lot of this routine too, and she's enjoying it, and we're getting better sleep and so forth. We don't want to end that. No. So, I mean, this is a routine that's keeping us happy, and it's not consuming everything. Now it's no longer me thinking about business 24/7.
Right.
I'm thinking about it, but it's what I said earlier to you this week is like, I care more to care less.
Yeah, totally.
Which is a weird one to say. It's like,
no, it's brilliant.
It
is.
I'm caring less about a lot of things that I know that are repetitive. I'm not going to worry about stuff that's been the same for all these years, and I keep on worrying about it. Like, so I'm caring less about that.
Yeah.
And cutting it out. It's almost like cutting out X amount of negativity and so forth.
Right, man. Yeah.
To better everything else in the future. Now I'm not on my phone all the time.
Right.
I'm not really interlocked with a lot of stuff. It's so much nicer. When I actually have conversations or look at somebody, I can look at them and pay attention to them, and it both at home and so forth. And it's so much nicer.
Yeah,
and I don't want that end, but that, like I said, that's my selfishness. I'm going to contain that. I'm going to do this.
Have you gotten to the point? Have either of you guys gotten to this point? Let me tell this to you. And Jeff, I know I want to get back to you too, because I want to talk about what you feel like your complacency is. But I don't want to let this moment pass. So you brought up the phone. So I like my phone. I've been using the big Apple iPhones forever. I always get the big one with the big camera, and it yields fantastic results. Love it. I'm going back to the mini. I'm going back to the tiniest phone they just released because my phone, the screen is so big. It's so bright. It looks so great. I watch videos on it. I'm always got YouTube going for something. I'm always trying to absorb more and more shit. I'm fucking over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking over the content. I'm over trying to learn shit. I just want to master the shit that I know how to do now. I'm going to try to get the smallest fucking phone I can get and not charge that motherfucker through the day. That is how I'm going to pull myself out of this kind of complacency where you rely on other things and figure that shit out, man. Go with your gut instinct more. Stop asking motherfuckers for things. So, having said that, I'm going to punt over to you, Jeff, and I hope you've had some time to think about it because I know I put you on the spot. But where do you feel like maybe one of your complacencies is? Yeah, right on, man.
I literally act like I caught a football.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's kind of a combination of two things. I'm kind of like Josh on the selflessness but it's on the sense of I have to do certain things like working out, trying to read or do certain things because I feel then I'm not whole, I'm not me, which is very weird to know that, which I think, Josh, we can kind of tie this to you is if that routine breaks for a few days, weeks, happiness and all the things that you mentioned can still be there. And that's something that I've always struggled with is trying to get out of those routines of working out, something physical or whatever it may be, meditation, that if those things don't happen every day, I'll be fine. The world will go on. You can get back in it. And that's a hard concept, I think, for me when I get out of those things is it like messes with me internally. It's like, man, you gotta be honest. What are you doing? You're lazy. What the heck? Not in those terms, but I think that's a big aspect of mine. And the other one was,
hey Jeff, hold on real quick, man. Let me hop in the middle there. Would you agree that if I said that when you go to sleep at night, you may be living in the Matrix, but that's your chance to reboot every single night?
Oh yeah,
it really is. Yeah. That's your opportunity to fucking reboot everything.
So I say every single day is a new day, and you make the best of it. That's why the very first task of my day, every single day when I wake up, is I make my bed.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you have to.
That way, and because you'll be amazed. Just just make your bed. Anybody out there listening, don't make your bed as soon as you wake up. Just do it. When you come home, you got a made bed to go to.
It'll change you.
It changes. Just one task, and you see how rewarding it is at the end of the day.
Someone in mind still when the hours I get up. So one of my first things is drinking water, and then I got like a quote thing every day. That's probably the first thing, and that's the only thing I'll go straight to on my phone. Or like I'll go straight and work out, and stuff like that. Or I go straight, depending on the day, I'll go straight into my meditations and my breathing.
Yeah,
I get up,
chug
my water. So yeah, I try to do the similar thing, but different that. And there's a whole book on it. I can't remember the Navy SEAL's name, but yeah.
Oh, you talking about Groggins? Is it Groggins?
No, the different one is it's called How to Make Your Bed. I think.
Okay, gotcha.
I actually have it. It's a tiny little book, but he tells some cool stories of SEAL stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a pocket book again.
Right on. Well, hey, real quick, let's not forget you had one other point you wanted to make.
Yeah, so I'd say the other one that I got off this year, which was finally seeing like I was in, with a group of people that they all felt they had to do the same thing. We all have to do this. We all have to do this. We all have to do this. But you can't put your individual spin on it. No, you need to do this. You need to do this. And this entire group, almost cult-like, thinking that, oh, you have to do this. We got to work this many hours. We have to do this so we can get these cars. We can get this house. That in the beginning, I was not excited for those things. It was excited to be a part of what I thought would be life-changing for myself and my family. And it's like, I don't need those things. Like, those are all things that you've been all brainwashed to think that that's what you have to be happy. And hearing people put down people who are, laborers, like, not being mean to you, Josh, but in this group, they would look at you like, yeah, why would you want to do that? why would you not? I think what you do, Josh, is fucking cool as hell. You're like an adult playing with fucking Legos all day. You're building shit. That is badass to me. You know, doing cool things and using these tools I've only seen on TV. Now, you know, watching you use them.
Hey, but if we go back, if you go back to looking externally for everything, what have people done over the last 70 years? They've looked externally for somebody else to do their work for them. Everything. Cut the grass, work on my car, change my oil, build my house, fix my food, go kill my animals, do everything for me externally. Just saying.
I've always had this question that I've been asking for years. I've always asked myself, like, why do I do what I do? And I keep on like, what drove me to do this? And I have X amount of reasons, you know. It's like, I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't like being told what to do, which is one of my biggest issues. I don't like being told anything unless it's something that I have interest in and I want to hear you or express your opinion or so forth. But I always wonder that with everyone. But I value everyone, which is really weird in my book, because like Jeremy could be a basket weaver. And I'm like, you do basket weaving? Like, why in the world? Like, that's your only goal? You've been doing basket weaving for 30 years. You've just been weaving baskets. I mean, I could go to Michael's and pick up a basket. Like, you're not doing it for them. I always question, like, what do people do and what keeps them to keep doing what they're doing? Like, where we go on that complacency. But I don't look down on them necessarily.
No, not at all.
As far as like, this is all you want to do. That's so awesome. Like, I know people that are really simplistic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you never wanted anything more? No, I am so happy with my life because I have a broke down vehicle that I got to push start like Fred Flintstone or something, you know?
Right.
And, and they have nothing.
But those are the smartest people in the world.
I know, right?
They really are.
Yeah.
Minimalistic people. I really love minimalistic
They have
things.
no attachments.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I see the flip side of it. I see people that I'm driving around in this rented Ferrari and acting like I own it. And and they pull this lifestyle on social media that's just completely falsified.
Yeah.
And then you find out about it or whatever, and you're like, why are you doing this? But I'm not looking down on it. It's just like, wow, this is interesting.
No, listen, if you have peace in your heart, then you should be happy, no matter what you're doing.
Happiness.
Yeah, we can't tell anybody what else should make them happy.
No.
But it is telling when we look down on people because we've been conditioned by our parents and their parents and their parents and their parents to look down on people that don't have what you wanted to have.
What is your why? What is your motivation?
And that's what I was surrounded with is, you know, my dad was a plumber, and him and my mom were getting ready to start their own company. Unfortunately, he passed, you know, at my very young age. But hearing those things and saying, like, dude, that's where I came from. And then my other half was farmers. And my other grandpa was a businessman, entrepreneur. And, okay, that might fit your guys' little culture. So you're talking that majority of these people, that's probably what their families do. You're bad-mouthing that because that's what they chose. If those people didn't do those things, you wouldn't have the person to fix your car, make these badass parts like Josh does, build your house. You wouldn't have people to do these things. And it was finally, I don't know, I guess, you know, last year at some point in 2019, it was just like, I'm not one of you. I never felt like I felt I never felt like I fit into that group. And that's when I was like, I'm not being complacent anymore. I'm not being your sheep. Yeah. I'm now stepping out of this line. I'm now the single wolf or whatever animal we want to go with.
Complacency.
Yeah.
I'm not going to follow the herd. And that was like my big awakening last year. You know, Jeremy and I, we talked about this before, you know, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like, it just wasn't for me, you know, and that's normal for everything. Everyone in life is not meant to be a part of something like this, that, whatever. We all have our own paths to go, and I stepped out and went on my own path, and it's rough with what's going on, but I'm way happier for what I am doing because I'm not complacent. I'm not falling in line, just being another cog in the wheel.
Well, the world's
I'm the one.
Jeff, the world is I'm going to say this right now. The world is a better place because you stepped outside of that circle. And Josh, the world is a better place because you're stepping outside of that circle. You know, I guess I've never thought about it, but I'm sure the world's a better place because I stepped out of my circle. I got out of my head. I got,
Oh, yeah, I
you know what I
agree.
mean? Like,
How many times I text you and told you thank you for just being there?
no, exactly,
know?
exactly. And
Mhm.
I got a lot of friends that are that way too.
right. I think that unfortunately we have a long road ahead of us and we may not see any light at the end, but we have to do the work so that our children can continue the work, and maybe more people will step outside of their shitty circle and say, I don't think I want to live like this. And then maybe eventually we'll be the majority and not,
Mhm.
made fun of and not looked down upon because you don't want to go get drunk with the buddies.
Kinder,
Yeah, you want,
kinder
yes.
people.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be happier sitting in a room with 5 like-minded people doing nothing, just talking about some serious and cool shit than you would at the bar doing shots or whatever you do that's unhealthy. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know, man.
completely agree.
I think that we have a lot of work ahead of us, and I think that it's our job not to make other people want to change, but to show other people what the change is so that they can make up their own mind in their own time. We can't make anybody do anything. They'll resent us. They won't want to hang out with us. They will be alienated, and then we'll get depressed, and then we'll fall back into those cycles.
It's how I feel all over again now that I'm back on sobriety like I used to be, and
Right.
I don't drink anymore.
Right.
And it's
Mhm.
go around people that drink, and what's the first thing that anybody will tell you if you drink or never drink? You don't want to be around people that do,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you really can't stand those type of people. And it's like I did to actually go back on you, Jeff, a while back. Like my routine was like going back on my selfishness. Like I was sober for so many years. I worked out nonstop. I was fighting. I was doing MMA, jiu-jitsu, everything. That's when I first kind of like came around and not really met Jeff, but in the same areas back in like 2010-ish. And that was my life. And I enjoyed it. And I wanted it to change. There was things I wanted to change about it, but I knew it was going to take years to change. And then we kind of fast forward into like where we are now in the last like quite a few years. It's like I went back to drinking, and I would sometimes binge drink and sometimes don't. My depression up and down. But I pretty much quit working out and demolished my routine I'm not going to say for other people's happiness or to confine into these groups and so forth, because I would never take any of it back in the last few years, because not only have I learned so much from it all, but man,
Right.
getting back into the routines of all this again, it makes me feel so much more happier.
Doesn't it
But
feel
that's
like
that
your
selfishness?
Doesn't it
side of
feel
me,
like
though.
your skin fits your body better?
Yeah,
Like, that's
It's
crazy.
It's a rebirth of who you should be.
I'm
Yeah, it is.
calmer.
Yeah.
I'm so much calmer now. Like I could, where I used to just blow up instantly, just like, this is it, or
Yeah.
whatever. I can take in so much more.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could give more to others now.
Yeah.
Than I ever did before. Where
You can.
I prioritize my times where I can actually, this is my schedule. Yes, Jeremy, I could fit you in at this
Right.
time to do your podcast.
Right.
Yes, I could talk to my friend who is having issues
Yeah.
with right now, and I need to talk to him because he is my friend
Right.
far away, and he doesn't
Yeah.
really have much people. Beforehand, I'd be like, I forgot about you. Oh,
Yeah.
this came up. And,
too.
well, I got my own problem. So what?
Are
When
you
you're-
going to keep this sobriety going for
When your
a
whole
long
life,
time, or until you get your mental state back?
Yep, I'm done. I know what caused me to start drinking all over again, and it was bad relationships. It was friends that were always in and out of the bars, and then I was in and out of the bars with them. I actually, for a long time, I was doing really good in the beginning of where it was like, I'll have 1 beer, 2 beer, and that stayed going pretty decent for, to be honest, like the beginning relationships of Tara and I. And then it just, between multiple jobs, children, and so forth, I just fell completely off, and I just kind of coasted. Like I was there, but looking back, like I was there, but I really wasn't there.
yeah,
I wasn't me there. And because I just know, like, when I sold my gym equipment, stopped the gym memberships, and I keep going back to fitness, but man, just fitness is just key for me.
It's amazing what working out a few minutes a day does.
To me, it's just like knowing that I eat so much healthier now. You know, my diets have changed, so my attitudes change.
You literally start craving new things when you start training your body. Immediately
having energy again. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I woke up at 7 o'clock and I wish I could have woke up at 9. You know, or my insomnia is a great example. I've always struggled with insomnia since I was a child. And then when I used to do all my weight training and when I was fighting and stuff, I was in bed guaranteed 10 o'clock at night. I was waking up 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, you know, I'm gone. I'm almost like, I'm a solid, like 40 some days in on my stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but I've done 3 months of dieting and changed my diet and starting to get on the routine for the last 3 to 4 months now.
Right.
And I've been working harder and harder and harder. And then for like the last 40 days, I've been solid and
killer.
I've not had insomnia issues. And the only time, like I said, I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning, but the only reason on that one was because I think I went to sleep at 8. And I just passed out.
Right.
So that one's on me.
Yeah.
So, but man, it makes a difference.
So what you're saying is in case anybody misses this, moving your body changes your mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Exactly. If anybody here between these 2 locations knows, it's Jeff. When you move your body, you move your mind. When your mind moves,
you just walk.
When your mind moves, you learn. You understand. You gain new perspective. You go, oh, shit, I was mad at Johnny because he said this to me, but now I understand that I sort of brought that on. And you wouldn't have thought about that had you have just been in your crazy fucking pain, manic body. Yeah. Like, there's something that is to be said about all of us humans living in our pain body. You react out of fear. You yell out in shame. You know, you cry for attention, whatever it is, no matter what you're doing. And you're an adult and you do it. You do these things. I know you do. We all do them. You're living in your pain body. You don't even have a chance to live in the real world because you're just mad. You're living off of emotions that have been driving your behavior for decades, more than likely. You know, I'm like not a doctor, but
yeah. Well, everybody's so emotional right now.
Right.
Like you see it all over social media, and seeing people's emotions have driven me to be able to be calmer.
Yeah.
Like I know you're in an emotional state right now because of this situation.
And you're making the world safer because if you escalated that, it's going to go out of hand. You have to stay calm because everybody else is getting crazier.
I've also been able to just sit back and just stop for a second and look at all sides.
Yes.
Like, yes, I understand this side.
Mm-hmm. The calmest one in the room is the one you don't want to mess with.
That's right, Jeff. Yeah, and the calmest mind in the room is the one that you will never be able to compete with. Mm-hmm. You cannot compete with a calm mind because a calm mind has 100% of their brain power on tap at any given time.
They're in control at all times.
That's right. You don't have to be a physical specimen. You don't have to look the part, but somebody could just destroy you mentally because they are that sound and that strong in their own skin.
It's like
and that's the hardest challenge, I think, in life.
What's that, Jeff?
I think that's the hardest challenge in life is to be the master of your own mind, but to have that clarity of, all these stoic things or, all the nonsense, or you can't say nonsense, it's all good stuff, but the stoic stuff is, having control over yourself and not outside events. I think that's Marcus Aurelius that actually said that one. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But that these little things like, and I just started doing CrossFit again 3 weeks ago, stepped away from the weightlifting I stepped away from the weightlifting after that competition. I think it was just time for a mental physical break. And I've been doing a lot of kettlebell, like steel mace stuff from my buddy Isaac and his programming. And then I do, doing some stuff back from 557. I'm just mixing it in.
Yeah.
I'm happy because I'm getting back to my roots of what led me to other passions. Now, some of this stuff came way before I ever did CrossFit too when I was fighting.
Right.
But this brings me back to kind of what Josh was saying, like, his early days of fighting. It brings me back to all that. it brings me back to when I was happy training for these fights or training for worlds or whatever competition I had. It brings me, but then it's also testing me again because I stepped away from this stuff for so long. Now it's testing my mental spirit when my body wants to stop, that my mind has to tell the body, like, hey, you can go. Like yesterday, I had to do a run and my hamstring cramped. So it was a very fast walk. So I was like, dude, I got to be very careful because I've not had any strains in muscles in years, knock on wood. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing a new thing. And I'm like, okay, let's take it easy. Let's not snap a hammy here. And I just kept telling myself in my head, all right, just keep going, just keep going. But I'm creating this mental toughness all over again because when I was doing the weightlifting, it wasn't challenging to me. It was difficult to do, but I just became so like routine with it. All right, we're snatching,
Right.
dirt, squatting, back squat. And it's getting into my mind like today, a little 4-round workout, and it's like, oh my God, my lungs are burning. I go, okay, I want to get it done under 8 minutes. Well, 1 second to spare. I'm no, sprinter anymore. I don't have this lung capacity like I used to, but it's opening that in my head to be in control of those things. And then hopefully this control of my physical stuff of pushing my limits there will supersede and it will relate to anything in life that encounters me to breathe through it, take a step back. Like you always say, Jeremy, let's take a 10 here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I can't say that I am, especially this past couple weeks, but, I'm doing my best with what, I got. But it's also those moments of constantly learning and seeing what I can do to continue to grow myself in the journey.
Totally. So speaking of continuing to grow, I want to add something here and probably start to close this out. But we started off today by talking about complacencies and looking externally for all things, love and hate and everything. Nothing's inside us anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing's our fault anymore. However you want to put it. I used to train my young airmen that were not familiar with convoy operations, that should they, God forbid, ever be ambushed or impeded, the only way to survive was to go through it. And Josh, you can attest to that.
Just push forward.
You push fucking forward, and you fucking push forward fast, and you're going to lose some people. You're going to lose some fucking airmen. You're going to lose some soldiers, some Marines. They're going to fall off, but you will not all die. You will survive. Because if you just sit, you're going to die. People, we're going to fucking die if we just keep sitting. That's in not so many fucking words. We are going to fucking die if we just keep sitting. I got this coin in front of me that Jeff so graciously left here one day, and it says on it, the obstacle is the way. So if you got a complacency, you push through that motherfucker. If you got a fear, you fucking drive through it. If you got shame, you deal with it head on. You have a fight with somebody, you fucking talk about it. You're not the person you want to be, you fucking change it. You don't like how many times I just said fuck, you fucking turn it off.
I think that's an ICP song.
So, having said that, I hope that you get out of your own way. I hope that something that we said resonates with you. And if it does, please share it. Please get more people on this. I don't give a shit about likes. I don't care about followers. I want to change the fucking world.
About helping people.
That's right. That's right. It's about helping people. So let's get out there. Let's help some people. So first and foremost, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, it's been wonderful.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Always great.
We love having you on.
Virtual hugs and
virtual
hugs and handshakes from a distance.
Absolutely, man. Jeff, thank you as always, brother. Love having you as part of this, man.
Always, man. I'm glad we can do it. And hey, we got to test this out to see how it works. So
that's right. It works. Yeah, we had some hiccups getting going, but I'm glad we stuck it out and we made it happen. So anyway, man, we pushed through just like every other obstacle, folks. You got one in your way, don't avoid it. Trust me, I got a couple of mine. I got a couple that I gotta head through, and I'll tell you all after I get through them, and not a minute before. So I love you guys. We all do. We hope that you have a wonderful day. So I'll go ahead and say goodbye.
Well,
bye.
Thanks.
That's right. Jeff, you got anything?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cool. Peace, guys. Love you.
Not to lose, not to lose.